Yeah, to talo from fafelo yatu lo to payamalo to malu. Fafelo yatu mal nei foi fa popon le tatu proclama nei le Samoa matters. Fa malo le flau fa malo foi le tawata e fa mo o maulunga pela o ino le masine lo to so for loud late. Welcome again to another episode, another video of the Samoa Matters podcast. This happens to be the Samoan Language Week, or the Vaiaso, Olingangana Samoa. E ona manatu leo Samoa Matters, e tu natu se sao foi mo lea tau mo whainga po lea po kalama taua mal matango fia wha malo atu le tau atai. Ia la tu o whafoina foi nei po kalama taua, mai se mo nai i whanau i ponis fo lo fia malama pēr ma whatauina le tātou ngana Samoa. About 2 weeks ago, I was writing this subject matter for a separate video, for just a regular video for the podcast, not knowing that there was this Samoan Language Week coming up, and so I thought, well, la whaongala le video le ile ngana Samoa, ile vaiaso ngana Samoa. And I'm going to try and have a video for each day of the 7 days of the week-long celebration. And on top of that, I saw the ad and the announcement, and the theme of the Language Week actually had this word. It's the same word that I was preparing this video about, and couldn't be more appropriate. And it's just kind of in line with exactly what the theme of the Language Week is. So the word sa. Now, since the word sa represents the first syllable and the first two letters of the word Samoa, which is the Samoan Language Week, I'm going to put the word Samoa up here as a kind of reference. Samoa. And so we're going to focus on this word here, this syllable. Fasi upu faleo. Yeah, first two. Throughout this video, we're going to focus on that word sa, which has several meanings, and it's a prefix, it's an affix, and it's also a suffix in the Samoan language. This sa word. It is also one of the past tense markers. So when you say the boy went to town, Samoa, and the Samoan translation will be Sa'alu le tama I le taulanga. Sa'alu, the boy went. Sa'alu le tama, the boy went. Sa is also a standalone word. And so here are perhaps the most common meanings of and usage of sa, mostly as a standalone word. The first meaning, the first one is it means sacred, holy, taboo, forbidden, etc. As in asosa. Asosa is Sunday, and the reason they call it asosa is because it's a holy day or sacred day. Falesa is a church building, a chapel, church in general, is holy or sacred house. And because of that meaning, sa means sacred, some people have theorized that the name Samoa means sacred center, where sa is sacred and moa in Samoan means center, besides chicken. And so sacred center. Moa olefale means the center of the house. Moa elwala means the center or middle of the road. This front part, the center part of the human body in front here, is in Samoan is also called the moa, your moa, the sternum. So Samoa, sacred center, sacred chicken. Some other people have posited it, but they're all speculations. So the second most common meaning of sa is used as a prefix that denotes lineage, clan, or extended family, or ainga. For example, the ainga of Malietoa would be sa Malietoa. The ainga of Tupua would be sa Tupua. It's again, notice how that's the sa is used to preface the name of the family. We see this continuation of the sacred meaning of the word sa in this family context. It suggests that, something sacred about the family, the ainga, in the Samoan culture and context. And that long vowel sound at the end, like Samali Toa Satupua, is not absolute, because there are cases where it's just a regular pronunciation. For example, the family of Tuala would be Sa Tuala, not Sa Tuala. And the family of Samoa will be Sa Samoa, not Sa Samoa. Again, the important thing to notice here is that Sa indicates this kind of a sacredness attached to the family, to the Samoan ainga. And during Five Laves and these exchanges of speeches, you would often hear the tulafale or the orator say, "O to sa, mau to whainga, o to mamalu, ole a ule o ye." Literally means your the sacred aspects of your family. I will not even rehash or mention. So there's this sa connected to the family, this sacred aspect of Samoan families. Okay, the other more common meaning of the word sa is the evening and nightly village curfews. Sa is curfew, again, especially in the village areas. The other word for sa is vavau. So if you're in the village and happen to hear the conch shell, which is the standard sound to alert people that the curfew is in effect, you would hear the expressions either "Ola waili le vavau" or "Ola waili le sa." That means they've sounded the sa or they've sounded the vavau. Again, vavau literally means to forbid, prohibit, or to ban. The same meaning as sa. Now, there are usually two curfews. There's one early evening to signal and let the villagers, the members of the village, that they should be in their homes saying their evening prayers. And then there's one late at night, about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in most villages. They'll sound the conch shell again. This shell, this is the standard device or instrument that they use to sound the curfew, the sa. So when they say the ili de sa, or ili de vavau, they're referring to blowing this instrument, so-called the bullhorn. This conch shell is to, when they sound it, that means the curfew is in effect. There are usually guards, the chiefs, some of the chiefs, the matais, and most of the taulileas, or the non-titled men. They're the ones that guard the village. This conch shell is also used in other similar purposes. If they want to summon people for a special meeting in the village, a gathering, also a standard gathering of fishermen to go fish together, especially in the lagoon. And that fishing expedition by the young adult men or the non-titled men is called the mata or the maka. So when you hear someone says, "Ola waili le mata," no, that means they've summoned all the fishermen, again using the conch shell, that it's time to go fishing together. And so the name of this shell is called pu in the colloquial vernacular language. But the more formal, the more polite word or name for it is 4-4. 4-4. You may have heard the song that goes like this. Ilima ile 4-4 ile foye nisiapo ni tamalolo. They're referring to this 4-4, the conch shell. So, again, sa is a curfew. Village curfews, especially. Okay, so the final part of the explanation for this word, sa, has to do with the language of respect, the language of politeness in the Samoan culture. These things, as you can see, it's a bit involved, the meaning of this word and the application of the word sa in this context, in the opu fa'aloalo, or term of respect, or word of respect, in the language of politeness, or language of respect. And so we have, first is the ka. The colloquial word is ta'avali. The canoe colloquial word is va'a, and the coffin, the casket, the colloquial word is pusaoti or pusamaliu. But they all have one thing in common, and that is the polite word for these three. And that is sa. And so, if you're addressing these objects as belonging to somebody, then you would use the polite word, sa. So that's your sa. If you're sitting in your new car and somebody comes around and says, oh, now, don't fret. He's just, or she's just saying, and likewise, the canoe is a sa. Yeah, where are you going to paddle your canoe to? And of course, the coffin or the casket is also a sa. You would often hear, especially when they're announcing the program funeral, somebody's funeral, and they'll say, "Ya ona moli moli a maea la moli moli atulana sa." That means they're going to take his coffin or casket to the burial place, to the cemetery. And so that is also the upufa'aloalo, or the polite term for the pusaoti, or the casket, the coffin, is sa. Moli moli atulana sa. Now, is there a connection between these three to have been called sa in the polite language of politeness in the Samoan language? The answer is yes, and here's the explanation. First, let's go with the ka. Now, because it's a mode or method of transportation, that's the link between these two. It's a mode of transportation or method of transportation. Canoe is used in sea travels and again, transportation. Therefore, you can add in this category like a bicycle or a motorcycle, any kind of mode of transportation. They can also use this polite word, sa. The canoe, of course, is a sa. But this is our origin right here, the canoe. This, by default, has always been the sa, the canoe. And so it kind of, these two kind of got their sa designation from the canoe. And again, these two, because of the mode of transportation. And this here, connection to this, is much more profound, for lack of a better word. Let me back up and say that the sa, in the context of the canoe, is the same context that is used in the theme of the Samoan Language Week, the Vaiaso Olengana Samoa. The Malulu Sa Folawilangi Ma, it's talking about the canoe. Talking about the canoe in the context and all these nuances. Now they're applying it to your personal preparation for life, and the goals that you have, is what I seem to get from the context of that expression, the theme of the Language Week. But again, it originates with the canoe. Now, let's go to the more profound connection between the canoe and the coffin. Let me start by saying that during the so-called pre-contact years, or before the Christian missionaries, the Polynesians believed also in the afterlife, so as the Samoans and other Polynesians. And so the Samoans have these names for places in the afterlife, just like the equivalents of those places in the Old Testament, like Hades, Sheol, or Seoli, Gehenna, Kena. Those are the places, the afterlife destinations, or places for spirits, the abode for the spirits after death. And those, some of the words in terms of those places are Pulotu, Fafao also Nu'ononoa. Those are the kind of the three that come to mind of these afterlife destinations. And Polynesians, like when somebody dies, in the Marquesas, for example, they would build a coffin in the shape of a canoe. The belief is that this canoe-like coffin will continue sailing into the afterlife. Likewise, the Samoans, they also believed that, the canoe is the vehicle that takes the spirit to these places, whether it's Fafasa Wali'i or Pulotu or Nu'uanonoa. And so that's their belief. The canoe is the vehicle to that place. In fact, the Samoans have a term for this specific canoe or boat that carries the spirit to the destination, in the afterlife. And they call it Va'aloa. Va'aloa. So it's the boat or canoe of spirits that take them to their destination. And so this continuing journey, apparently this belief that the spirit lives on after death is universal, because the Samoans also believe in this continuing journey into the afterlife. Hence the source of the expression you would often hear during funerals, Manuia Laumalanga. Yeah, Manuia Laumalanga. So the question is there proof in maybe the language of this traditional send-off using a canoe, traveling to a place in the afterlife? And the answer is yes. There's this word, one key word, that supports this traditional belief of the Samoans and the Polynesians. And the word is peau fa'a mavai. The word is peau fa'a mavai or peau fa'a mavai. Literally means the parting waves. Peau means waves or swells, or the current of the ocean. Peau. Fa'a mavai means to say farewell. Parting waves or parting currents. And so these peau fa'a mavai refers to the final arrangements, preparations, and details before burial. And it includes things like the lauava, the feast, the food, and also any expenses, any cemetery expenses, burial expenses. They're all included in this peau fa'a mavai. Just the final arrangements and necessities that need to be taken care of before burial or before send-off, using this canoe journey metaphor. Let me end by mentioning something that I did more out of fun than otherwise, and that is to come up with a word, an English word, for peau fa'a mavai or peau fa'a mavai. And I did come up with the word, a coinage, or a portmanteau, or a neologism, if you will. And the word is, because I based it on the word farewell. Peau wha vai. And my new word is, wait for it, fair swells. Please like, share, and subscribe. And from Samoa Matters, till next time, soy for ya.